Ever wondered why luxury brands sell things that look, honestly, kind of weird? Shoes that look oversized, bags that look worn out.
In 2022, Balenciaga released a pair of sneakers that looked like they had been dragged behind a truck. They were severely scuffed, structurally ruined, and covered in permanent dirt. The retail price was $1,850. The internet reacted exactly as expected. Outrage exploded across social platforms, generating thousands of articles and millions of angry comments debating who would actually buy them. For decades, traditional luxury was defined by pristine craftsmanship and undeniable quality. A high price tag was the logical result of rare materials and meticulous labor. Today, the world's top fashion houses are pulling in record margins by marketing intentionally destroyed aesthetics, ironic logo flips, and literal trash pouches. Industry analysts define this shift as Luxury 3.0. It functions through a manufactured ecosystem of scarcity and controlled cultural friction. To understand how this works, we have to deconstruct the specific pricing models these companies use, decode the psychology of anti-fashion, and map how digital culture allows brands to segment their audience. In this model, the socioeconomic status and item signals carries more weight than the physical object itself. This graph illustrates the foundational rule of microeconomics, the law of supply and demand. As the price of a good goes up, consumer demand decreases. But in 1899, an American economist named Thorstein Veblen identified a glaring anomaly in how people purchase status symbols. This adjusted chart shows what we now call a Veblen good. Notice how the demand line bends upward. For certain luxury items, as the price increases, the demand actually rises with it. The high price becomes the main feature. This explains why a standard designer leather bag might cost $250 in raw materials and labor, yet retail for over $2,500. The markup does not reflect physical quality. Brands employ prestige pricing to set a cost floor at the very top of the market. The high price acts as a deliberate gatekeeper, ensuring the item remains inaccessible to the general public. Rational buyers in this market aren't paying a premium for better leather. They are paying a premium to guarantee that others cannot afford the exact same item. When a standard retail company produces too much supply, the solution is simple. Put the excess inventory on discount to find a no-market equilibrium. High-end fashion houses completely reject this practice. Putting a designer item on sale signals that the prestige pricing was artificial, immediately eroding the perceived value of the brand. To maintain the Veblen effect, these companies aggressively control the supply in the market, ensuring that their products remain exclusively scarce. In 2018, it was revealed that Burberry destroyed over £90 million worth of its own unsold clothing and cosmetics. The company absorbed the massive financial loss rather than let the products be sold at a discount. They pair this physical scarcity with psychological pricing tactics, avoiding 99-cent endings in favor of flat, imposing numbers like $10,000. They also routinely hike these prices to outpace inflation, keeping the barrier to entry comfortably high. A system willing to literally incinerate millions in capital rather than allow its products to become accessible proves one point. The physical clothes are secondary. Engineered scarcity is the true product. Once scarcity is established, the brand must decide how to communicate it to the public. The traditional aesthetic of founders like Cristóbal Balenciaga relied on quiet elegance and refinement, but the modern approach relies on loud, meme-driven irony. This design philosophy, known as anti-fashion, replaces elegance with awkward silhouettes and ugly cute elements that mock traditional luxury codes. Brands pair these designs with shockvertising. The ugliness acts as intellectual filter, determining who belongs in the in-group and who stays out. If mainstream consumers are confused or offended by a $1,000 distressed sneaker, the filter is working. That discomfort proves the brand is not meant for them. Meanwhile, the target demographic of high-income millennials and Gen Z lean into the joke. Purchasing these bizarre pieces becomes a way to signal intellectual superiority and rebellion against establishment tastes. This flowchart traces the resulting viral-to-sales pipeline. Deliberate confusion sparks digital debate. That debate generates memes, which creates massive free brand visibility that ultimately converts to sales from the true target audience. The bizarre aesthetic choices are not design accidents. They are calculated psychological tools designed to command attention and efficiently segment audiences in a culture obsessed with scrolling. This creates a unique tension. A luxury house needs to grow its massive global revenue, but doing so risks diluting the Veblen prestige it relies on. The solution is masstige, or mass prestige. By executing highly calculated co-branding drops with streetwear and fast fashion companies, luxury brands can access the middle-class youth market. To execute this, brands rely on relative pricing models. This matrix breaks down exactly how collaborations are structured. In the top right is the lobster roll strategy. Here, a luxury brand collaborates with a non-luxury partner, but the item is anchored to the luxury price floor. When Gucci collaborated with Adidas on the Gazelle sneaker, they priced it at an exclusionary $650. This allowed Gucci to absorb Adidas's streetwear credibility while remaining mathematically out of reach for regular buyers. Conversely, the steak and ketchup strategy in the bottom right pairs a luxury brand with a fast fashion retailer, deliberately matching the retailer's lower price point. Collaborations at this price point, like the Balmain x H&M drop, build long-term brand loyalty among younger customers who might otherwise be priced out. Co-branding operates as an extraction mechanism. It allows luxury houses to strip mine the cultural credibility of the streets while mathematically protecting their exclusionary price floors. But these complex pricing matrices mean nothing if no one desires the product. To fuel this engine, brands require total integration with celebrity pop culture. Top influencers act as human billboards. By appearing in everyday settings draped in high fashion, they broadcast a heavily curated reality of wealth directly to their massive fan bases. Consumers in the middle and lower classes are then driven to purchase entry-level designer goods, like keychains, fragrances, or base model sneakers, just to feel a proximity to these cultural icons. The financial reality is stark. A significant portion of designer revenue comes from aspirational buyers spending their limited disposable income on these status markers, leaving them highly vulnerable to economic shifts. While middle-class wage growth remains flat, luxury conglomerates post record profits. In the first 9 months of 2023 alone, the luxury group LVMH reported a 14% spike in revenue. The glamorous facade of a Fifth Avenue boutique masks a highly effective system of wealth extraction occurring on main streets worldwide. By selling an engineered aspirational dream, luxury conglomerates maintain growth, even as middle-class purchasing power fluctuates. We return to the exact same object where our entire investigation first started today, an $1,800 deliberately destroyed designer sneaker. This object represents the convergence of the Veblen curve, the intellectual in-group filter, and a high-margin asset built on shockvertising. However, there is a singular vulnerability at the core of this entire system. Because the value is completely manufactured through perception, the strategy collapses instantly if the brand loses ethical credibility. In late 2022, Balenciaga released advertising campaigns that crossed severe moral and child protection boundaries. The carefully calculated shock shifted from edgy provocation to undeniable ethical failure. The reputational damage was immediate. The ironic contract between the brand and its consumers shattered, driving over 300 million views to boycott hashtags across social media platforms. True market capture in the modern luxury sector is an incredibly delicate, unforgiving high-wire act for any brand. It requires balancing prestige pricing to filter wealth, anti-fashion to filter culture, and absolute ethical accountability. Without that trust, the illusion of the dream simply fades away.